Hey everyone, Mike here with Side Hustle Magazine. If you're new to the channel, my name is Mike. This is Side Hustle Magazine. I've always been a big fan of Extreme Metal Magazine. Now today we're reviewing Pestilence, Consuming Impulse from 1989. And when we use the term most underrated, a lot of times people talk about underrated bands, underrated songs. I truly think that it's possible this may be the most underrated death metal album of all time. Again, this came out back in 1989. This was an extremely brutal, extremely rough album, and I really don't see much discussion. I don't see much talk on it on YouTube. I definitely go back to it from time to time. I first heard of this album about back in late '05, early 2006, so I was definitely not listening back in 1989, but I've been listening to it for almost 20 years now, and it is an amazing piece of music. Unfortunately, the band changed for their 1991 release, Testimony of the Ancients, so really all we have is this album, Consuming Impulse. Straight old school death metal. Martin Van Drunen's vocals are extremely brutal. They remind me very much of Chuck, and it's just a delight to listen to this. I would say my favorite track is Dehydrated. Second favorite may be The Process of Suffocation about global warming. Pretty cool when you get a message in there in a death metal song. Someone once said that metal or death metal is music with a message delivered in an indecipherable way. I love when music is brutal, but they're also talking about something of importance. And they were talking about global warming, from what I gather, The Process of Suffocation. Reduced to Ashes, about the burning of witchcraft. Phenomenal song. Again, this is just old school, straight death metal. Really don't hear music like this anymore. And a lot of people believe this is one of the top brutal albums. Again, it came out in '89, so this is one of the most brutal releases of the entire '80s, for that matter. Love to hear your thoughts on this. This is just one of those albums where you really wish the band had continued on in that direction. Why did they decide to break up and change members? Why did Martin Van Drunen leave and go to another band? Why didn't they do another album just like this? But nonetheless, this is a true gem. If you are a fan of death metal, if you are a fan of old school death metal, certainly this has to be on your listening playlist. And again, I believe that this is a highly underrated album. I do not see much discussion on it. Do not see much love on YouTube on it. So wanted to take a moment to highlight this amazing piece of old school death metal. Brings me to the most important part of the video, your comments. Love to hear them in the comments section down below. What are your thoughts on Consuming Impulse? Had you heard of it before? And if so, what do you really appreciate most about it? What do you like about it? And as always, stay metal.